Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the big old spinning world of blah. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS, and it's the end of the week here in Australia. Not for you in the rest of the world, because you live in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an awesome guest on the show today. We got Auntie G. Howdy do. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Jade. Welcome to the show. This is How to App on iOS, where we look at apps, we look at lots of different things. We talk about mental health and well-being, and we even take a look behind artist songs. And the last day of every week, we interview somebody who's an artist of some sort to do with iOS or possibly Mac or whatever, just a creative type. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing cool. We have a wonderful artist here on today who I met through, I think, Pete John's channel over at Studio Live Today. She's a singer guitarist. You just heard from her right then, and let me just fix my screen here. That track was called Halfway Life. And pretty sure you can get that on iTunes and stuff. There are links in the description for all of that. So Auntie G is from Norway, and amazingly, she writes music that surprisingly sounds like it comes from the US of A. So she's an amazing artist. I hope you will all welcome her with big wide open arms to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Auntie G. How are you today?
Hey, Jade. Hi, everyone. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am fantastic. All the better for having you on the show. And I agree with what I think somebody said in the chat I saw. You do look like Julia Roberts.
I think that person needs glasses. No, but anyway, thank you very much.
I think it was Saga Kadabra who said that. And spot on, in my opinion. So I'm going to ask you straight off the bat, why Auntie G?
Well, my name is Gjertrud Coutinho. So, and I can hardly say my name myself. So I couldn't expect anyone else to say it, pronounce it, or remember it, or even type it if they're going to search me up somewhere. So I thought, sure, I was struggling a long time to find a cool artist name. And then I was on, listening to Pete John's show, and we're talking about artist names. And so I was there in the chat, and I thought, well, I've got family in South Africa. My husband is from South Africa, so he's got family there. And my nieces and nephews, they couldn't pronounce my name either when they were small, so they called me Auntie G. So I put in the chat, and I said, maybe I should go for Auntie G. What do you guys think? And since then, it's been Auntie G. Everyone is like, yeah, Auntie G, we can remember that. Yeah, Auntie G. So there you go. And since it's been Auntie G.
I was there for that, and we were all like, yeah, Auntie G.
Yeah.
Forever and a day. It's so easy to look you up on iTunes and stuff too. I think it works really well. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I've grown to love it even more now.
So I want to ask also, what does music mean to you, Auntie G?
I think music, it's always been a big part of my life, but I think foremost of everything, it just means joy. A lot of joy, a lot of happiness in my life comes from, my music. So it just brings me so much joy to work with music, listen to music, create music. So I think that's the biggest part for me. But it also gives me comfort, gives me strength. So it's all these emotions, really. And it's therapy in many ways for whatever you go through in life. And now the later years, music has become my little escape to have me time. It's a time where I don't have to be a mum, I don't have to be a colleague, I don't have to be something for everyone else. I can just be me, and it's my time. So for now, it's like a little bit selfish maybe, but now it's me time.
You're allowed to be selfish. And it's not selfish. Selfish is like taking the last piece of cake when somebody's hungry, but having your own space for your music, that's absolutely unselfish completely. So when you were growing up, do you remember the music that was played in your household?
Yeah, I do. Well, I remember a lot of different music, and I remember when I grew up, we had this recliner chair, and I used to pull this recliner chair over to the stereo, and I would put on these big headphones, and I would plug it in, and we had this big record collection, not big, but it was a fair amount of vinyl records. And I would play, and I would sit there, and I would put one on, and I would sort of work my way from one end to the other end of this collection of music. And it was everything from classical music to Creedence, to ABBA, to rock, different kind of rock music. So it was a big spectrum of things. And audio books with music. And I remember that also being an escape. It was like a me time even then. I used to sit there with my curled up in my recliner chairs, and I would be in my my own world there. And for me, that's such a wonderful memory.
Were you a person who liked to grab a broom or something like that and do performances for nobody?
I wish I was, because that looks really cool and it would sound cool, but I wasn't. I wasn't really, no. I sang. I've always been singing and I sang, but I didn't... I took it quite seriously, I think. Okay. I didn't fool around with my music. So no, I didn't, but yeah.
I used to do it just because I wished that there was not nobody there, and instead there was 100,000 people cheering me on. I'm glad there weren't, because I sounded terrible when I was young.
Yeah.
Talking about, did any of that music any particular music that you listened to when you were growing up, did it have an effect on you? Is it something that, resonates with you now and inspires the music that you make today?
Yeah, I think so. I think because I listen to a broad horizon of music, it sort of taught me to love different kind of music, and I think. And I also remember going to my granny's house, and my uncle, Helge, if he's watching, I'm not sure. My uncle Helge was there. And when we came there, he would put on ABBA. And I still remember that feeling I got, and he had these very good speakers. And I was very impressed with those speakers. And I remember the feeling it gave me. It's like, I think that's the most important thing with music. It's actually the feeling you get. And that's what you remember as well. It's the feeling you had when you listened to that song and how it made you feel. And I remember when I listened to that music, it made me feel so alive and inspired. So that I've sort of has influenced me, I think. And also I remember my sister, she would listen to like more hard rock stuff and Kiss and Twisted Sister. I don't know if you remember that.
Everyone's got a Kiss story. I swear, everyone who comes on this show, Kiss comes up. I don't know what it is about them.
And I think it's and I didn't listen to it because I liked it in the beginning. I listened to it because she was older than me, and it was cool. And because she would listen, I wanted to listen because but then when you start to listen to music, you get to know it, and the more you listen to it, the more you like it. So I think it's important to give music a chance. You've got to be familiar with the music. You've got to get to know the music, just as you have to get to know a person before you can make up your mind whether you like this person or not. It's like the same with music. So I think when I was young, I spent a lot of time with music, and I would listen to it again and again and again. And because I did, I sort of fell in love with different genres of music. And now I can listen to Gary Hubbs. I can listen to my own country music, which are so totally different, but I love them both.
You hear that, Gary? And ironically, Gary just wrote in the chat, I never said Kiss. Well, sorry, Gary. All right. But there you go. Snap. Exactly. So let's say hello to the folks who are here, because Auntie G, your milkshake brings the boys to the yard, because there's a lot of people here today. There is a big lot of people. So let's scroll up to the top of my chat and let's say hello to a few of them. We'll start off with Synth Widow, who's one of our new moderators. Hello, Joe. Deep Gravity is here. Danny Broderick, Foxy Nirvana. Let's see, Andy Goldsby, Paying to Get, Nina SM Borthwick, Bogart, 911. Russ is here in Faction. Mark is here as well. Desolate Morning. Tom Scalane Music, Stephen Rimmer, Andy Goldsu, did I already say that? I think I did. Patrick Chandler. Let's see, I'm scrolling. Did I say Stephen Rimmer? I think I did. Man, my memory is terrible, Auntie G. It just is shocking. Kim is here too. Let's see. I know Pete Johns is here. There he is. He said, hey, party people. It's a bit early to be partying, Pete. You should know that. Let's see, who else have we got here? Oh, we've got Doctor's Orders. who's here as well. Tom Rochelle. I've got glasses on too. I can't even see. God, I'm terrible. Scrolling down here, see if I can catch anyone else who I've missed. I already said Saga, so welcome to you too. God, there's so many people here. It's so hard. Bear is here as well. Sai is here. Scrolling. Get that window scrolling. Rawhide. If I've missed you, let me just scroll down to the bottom. If I've missed you, David Birdwell is here too. Just let me know. Joe Glenn. Oh, it's so hard to say hello to everybody. It feels like we're in chat, you know. We're all like, hello, and by the time you type hello to everybody, the show's over. Cold Acre is here as well. Who agrees with that? Saying hello to everybody each day is so hard. I think we should start a thing where we all just say hello everybody, and we all get it easily done. But Lady Rhodaline too. Look, everybody, welcome aboard. Gary already said you. Rob B, welcome everybody. Let's get back down to the nitty gritty and put Auntie G through the questioning loophole here. What was your first album, Auntie G, that you purchased or was given, and what format was it on?
Oh, Jade, you should have prepared me for this.
No, I like the...
You can't spring such a question on me. Oh, God, I can't remember.
I like the randomness.
The format must have been a vinyl, a record, or a cassette. But what it was, I don't know.
It doesn't have to be your first. Just what's the earliest one you remember that you were like, oh, I love this. What is this? What is this goodness?
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's where you go blank and you can't even remember owning ever a record or a cassette. So...
You can make one up if you can't.
I don't know. You know, I can't remember. And I used to make this mixtape.
All right.
That I remember.
Tell us about your mixtapes.
And yeah.
What did you put on your mixtapes?
That would be like a mix of old Creedence, and it would be a lot of Norwegian artists. It would be some gospel music. It would be Aretha Franklin. It would be so a mix of different genres. Yeah.
Do you still make mixtapes?
Well, in sort of way, we all do now because we make our own playlists on Spotify. Well, I do. So yeah, I make loads of mixtapes now.
Alrighty. Hello to Doug, who's joined us here from the sound test room. Kiss, kiss. He'll get that joke. So, actually playing music. So, were you like other people that got pushed into it at school or anything like that? What was it that you first started to learn?
Well, I started when I was 6 years old. I decided I wanted to play the accordion.
Wow.
And don't ask me why the accordion at the age of 6. I have absolutely no idea. But accordion it was. The one with the buttons, not the one with looks like piano. Yeah. Anyway, so I asked my mum and she said, of course, but I'm too young for any public music school. So she had to get me a teacher, first of all. So she managed to get hold of a teacher, and I started playing the accordion. And then my mum got an accordion too, and my older sister got an accordion too. So we had like a band at home.
Like the Partridge Family.
Yes. So now when I think about it, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But anyway, so I played the accordion until I was about 13 years old. And then I figured out that it wasn't cool anymore to play the accordion. Can you imagine? So I stopped because at the age of 13, you want to be cool. And that was not cool. So I stopped. And now I'm just kicking myself for being so stupid. But there you go.
Can you still play it?
Anyway, so I stopped.
Now?
No, absolutely not. I picked one up a few years ago, and no, a little bit, but no. Anyway, so I would always sing. Singing was my big passion. But the accordion was the first instrument that I learned to play.
Do you remember what your accordion you said you had an accordion teacher? Were they mean?
Yeah. No, he was really nice.
Oh.
He was really nice. And we used to go to his house because it was private lessons. So went to his house in the beginning, and then afterwards I got to join the public, music school, and I could also play with other people that played accordion, and we would have a little bigger group of children. Yeah, so that was cool.
I'm glad you didn't
haven't thought about that for many years.
That's what I'm here to do. Bring up those memories from the past. Dredge up those memories. So, did you do singing? Were singing lessons the next thing, or were you a natural singer before you did lessons?
I used to sing even before I started taking lessons, and then I used to sing in choirs. And at the age of about 15, when you're 15 to 18, those years at school, we call them videregående here, equivalent to A levels or junior high school. I don't know what you call them. But those 3 years of school, I went to study music. So that was my first or my second formal music teaching thing. And vocals was my main instrument. And I also had to do the piano. So I was happy to do it, but it was vocals that was my main instrument. So that I enjoyed a lot. It sort of gave me the fundamentals of singing technique and the classical training that helps you to do a 2-hour show, and you can still talk afterwards, and you're not sore, and you don't damage your voice. So because of that classical training, it's helped me a lot. But in some ways, it's also, at that time, I graduated there in '93, and at that time it was sort of just classical. There was no other option. So I liked the. So the next thing, sort of not classical, was musical theatre that I could do in school. So that I found was my sort of forte. That was my escape there in school. It was the musical theatre, because I was used to, from choirs and from singing in church and everything, I was used to telling a story, acting out something, showing emotions when I was singing, and I felt a little bit stifled by the classical music, and I felt I couldn't really I was never as good as all the others doing the classical music. But I felt that if I did the musical theatre stuff, I could shine a little bit more. I loved being on stage and having, a costume and acting a role. So that was fun. That was like 3 years of summer camp, really.
Yeah, look, I totally agree with you. I think definitely for singing. I think I did theatre as well in school, along with my singing lessons. I unfortunately didn't. Like, my singing teacher played the piano, but never showed me to play piano. So I always sung to her piano. But yeah, she said the same thing to me. She said, "Look, you're a natural, like, bleh. You need to join the theatre, and that'll help you with your singing for, more than anything, to be able to tell that story." So you're absolutely right there. It does help you. It helps you write material, I think. It helps you be able to convey an emotional message through your singing. So if anybody is, ever thinking of doing something like that, I can recommend it, no matter what the age, because, theatre just, it helps you confront it. You know what it really helps you do? It helps you take that inside voice and spread it so far out that it would take 10 years to pull it back in. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember someone telling me that, when you're on stage, you got to be convincing in everything you do, of acting out and singing. So the person on the last bench can hear you and can see the expression in your face. That's what you must think. And that actually helps you with the singing technique, because you articulate properly, and showing expressions in your face makes you have a better resonance, gives you a better sound in your voice. So theatre and musical theatre is actually very good for singers.
Did they teach you that method of, focusing on like a pole, you know, something out in the distance. I remember when I was in theatre, they were like, you know, look for something out far in the distance and focus on that specifically. And then over time, you'll learn to not need to focus on that anymore, and you'll be able to connect with individual people. That was one of the greatest things my theatre teacher taught me. And I still think of it when I'm performing and just like, oh, wow, it's so easy now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
So you've started your singing lessons. You know, you're a bit of a multi-instrumentalist as well. You've had the Partridge Family Band going on there, which could do a reunion one day. Who knows?
Yeah.
The band will be back together. Did you move on from there and join a band or anything like that? Had you created anything? Got together with other musicians back then when you were younger?
Not when I was younger, no. So then after I graduated from school, I went traveling for a while, and then I ended up in London, and I stayed there for many years, and I met my husband there, and that was the only part of my life where I didn't sing much. So that was sort of a different era of my life, I think, those years in London. So there was other focuses. and then we moved back to Norway. We moved to Norway. And I started singing again, and I joined a choir. I sang in baptisms and christenings and a little bit here and there. And then I joined, and then I had kids and busy with house and all of that.
Life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way. But I would still do music. I was a director of a choir, me and another one that was in charge of the musical things, and I would teach the choir the singing techniques and putting their emotions out there, and you know what. Worked for that for many years, doing my singing bit on the side, and then I joined a band. And then I did a bit of country music, a bit of rock. I sang in a blues band.
What was your first band name? What was your first band name? Sorry.
Attic Sound.
Attic Sound. I love first band names.
Because because we rehearsed in a loft, a little studio in the loft. So it was in the attic. So it was the Attic Sound.
Like a Joe's Garage kind of feel by Zappa.
Yeah.
So, and you're going, sorry, I did interrupt you. And then you had you said a blues band?
Yeah, and then I was singing blues for a while. And then back into country and and I would start to write my own songs, and I would take a few of them to the band, but it didn't really go so well because I think my music wasn't quite ready, you know, it wasn't quite finished. Right. You know, I came with a product that wasn't. It was ready, as in I had a beginning and I had the end, and it was a song and I had all the chords and the idea, but it wasn't complete enough to bring to a band and say, let's play this, because everyone was like, oh, but what am I going to do? And is there a break here? Is there a solo part here? Or is it this or that? Shouldn't you have a G minor there instead of this and that chord? And I was like, well, I don't know. So it was kind of a little bit premature, I think.
Well, they were the band. Shouldn't they have been able to work that out as the band?
Yeah, but, you know, we're all amateurs, you know. We're not just professional. And you know, so I understand. I definitely understand. It was actually on me. They were great. But we're all amateurs, so we're not that good. So anyway, so I brought the music, and then I thought, well, this is not working so nicely, but I want to keep doing my things. So I kept writing. I kept writing a lot of lyrics, and I had the music, and I would put it down. I would just sit by the piano, and I would record it on my phone, just I wouldn't forget it. And I would start building up a few songs, and then I stumbled across Pete Johns. On YouTube and the GarageBand, and I thought, hey, I can actually make something on my phone. So I just binge watched hours and hours, hundreds of hours of Pete's stuff on YouTube. And there we go. And I started actually trying to lift them up at a different, just trying to get it all together in GarageBand with a few different instruments. And that's how it started.
So one thing we all share together, we all have that moment when we came across that little man from Adelaide sitting there in his bedroom, or his little studio room with his treadmill in the background.
I know.
Letting us know to create, record, release every day.
But it works, you know, and meeting someone so friendly, you know, on YouTube channel, which you just stumble across, and that person is just so nice. It gives you energy just for listening and watching this nice person.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about songwriting, even, you know, back when, maybe let's, so you said that, you know, you went in with half-baked stuff, and what's changed from back then when you were songwriting, the way you would try to put together a song, to where you're at now writing songs?
Well, now I think more I know what I want and how I would like it to be and how I would like it to sound. And I have more confidence that when I bring a song to a band, I would say, this is it. I'm sorry. There is no other chord. That's the chord you're playing. Yeah. Because and not to be mean, but I think if you're co-writing with someone, then it's fine. Everyone can have their kind of input. But if you're not co-writing, but if you're coming with a more of a finished product and saying, here it is, let's play it, I think you just got to stand for what you believe in and think that this is correct. And now, when I have recorded it and made a finished product, I actually know that it works. Well, it works the way I want it to work. It probably could have been better. It could have been differently. But again, it's also a matter of taste. And this is how I ended up doing it, because of my taste and because of my knowledge and learning by doing. So this is what I've got. But I think now I would have come with a more finished product and been a little bit more strict if I could.
And your musical style, like, is definitely influenced by like country and gospel music. So and just by wanted to touch on one thing, you knowing what you want. I just want to bring this up because you've been married twice to the same person, so you really do know what you want, don't you?
What, Jade? I told you this in confidence about 10 minutes ago.
It just, that's what we do here.
Yeah, no.
I think, I brought that up because I think that really shows how confident you are and that you know what you want, you know?
I am married twice, but I'm married twice to the same guy. And it's it wasn't meant to be like that. Well, we were meant to be, but it wasn't meant to be that we had two weddings. But you know, we got married in my church, which is the Norske Kirke, the Norwegian state church, and he's Catholic. So when we came to the Catholic church and we were going to baptize our first child, they said, "Hey, you're not married," and we said, "What? We're married from the church. Here's our papers." Well, not in the Catholic eyes. We're not married, so we had to marry again.
2 weddings, though. That's pretty grand. Were they big weddings?
No, none of them were actually. The second wedding, we just snuck out. We got my mum to babysit, and we dressed up a little bit smart, saying we were going out for dinner, and we went to get married. And then, but now my husband, he keeps saying that he liked his first wife better. So there you go.
So you both know what you like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot there, but that was such a lovely story. It was impossible to pass up bringing up. So.
Yeah, I know. It took us a few years to actually tell people, but now it's a good story to bring up at parties.
You surprise me. You know, I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on. I know when I contacted you, you were like, "Oh, you want me on the show?" I'm like, "Oh, there's something about you, Auntie G. There's a whole lot under that surface that I want to scratch." You are a really, I think, accomplished artist who has so many talents and beautiful to boot. So I'm so stoked to have you on the show. This is awesome. I want to ask a little bit about, I just mentioned too, going back, I was about, you write country music and gospel music. So you have performed within your church. How important is your church to you? It seems like it's a big part of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. My faith is very important to me. And being in church and singing gospel music is for me just a piece of heaven. It is fantastic. And a few years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago now, I joined we call it a project choir. I don't know what's the word, but it's a choir called Gospel Explosion. And we come together basically for 10 rehearsals running up towards the concert once a year or twice a year. So it's quite intense period. And we're about between 50 and 100 singers in the choir. But and I have been on all of these projects that we've had in my city. And the reason is that it's so fantastic to create music with so many other people. And the boost that it gives you spiritually and just... and human to human, getting to know all these fantastic people in the choir, making music that are greater than yourself, that you're singing about something bigger than yourself. It's not just me anymore, and I'm in the center. It's us. It's heaven. It's a different message, and we've had some fantastic concert with lots of full of people. And with professional musicians, and everything has been really, really good. So that for me is a big part of my life. And now when we had to cancel a few of the concerts due to Corona, it's just been such a shame. And also with the Gospel Explosion, in 2017, we went on a tour to the States.
Oh my God.
So we wanted to go back to the gospel roots and to the music roots. So we had a 11-day tour, 5 concerts I think we did or something like that. And we flew into Houston and we visited New Orleans, Nashville, Memphis, Chicago, all the great places. And it was just fantastic. Being with the choir, singing over there where the gospel music comes from, and visiting all these places with all that fantastic music history was just such an inspiration. And that I'm forever grateful for Gospel Explosion for taking me on the tour.
You are so full of surprises. I love this. Look, I'm not a religious person myself. Well, I have my own beliefs, and that's okay too. But what I do love about the church is I love the music that is played in church and the joy and seeing people get into it. That's the beautiful part, I think, of religion that we forget actually goes on. There's so much in today's world. There's so much negativity and everything that even comes from religion and politics, all that stuff. I'm not going there. But, music is one of the things that really does bring us together, no matter what your faith is or your belief system. So, and I want to ask you too. So when you went to America for the first time, what was the first thing when you landed there that really was like, wow, I'm in America? Was there?
I think I was just shocked that everything is so big. Everything is big in America. And we come from very tiny Norway, which is a very small country. And we're all very nice, I think, in Norway. It's like, I don't know, but for us, everything is massive in the States. Everything from the houses to the roads, to the food portions, to the drinks, to the stage where you're going to sing, and everything is just big. So that was my impression.
It's really overwhelming. The first thing I saw was the footpaths, and we're like, you could drive 2 motorbikes on these footpaths. And I think I bought a Coke from a McDonald's at San Francisco airport. And I said, I'll have a large, thanks. Thinking I'm in Australia where it's about this big. And I'm like, it's gonna
You get a bucket.
take me a week to drink that. Like, what are you doing to me?
I know.
So look, that must have been awesome because, as I said in the beginning of the show, you do create country gospel kind of music, and very Nashville, Memphis kind of sound, and you're in Norway. So, that's like a bit of a incongruent thing. Did that experience really help you cement your style of playing country music? Or did you see any cool bands while you were there as well? Artists that you wanted to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did. We went to all the famous clubs. I can't remember the name, BB King's Blues Club and all these kind of places. And it was just, we listened to a lot of music but I remember especially Nashville because we walked down the street in Nashville and it was pub or club or whatever you call it, a venue after pub after pub with live music. And we pop our heads in and there was like this great music playing. So we thought, okay, we'll stay here. So we listened to a song or two. No, we've got to keep on going. So we went to the next door, and there's another great band, and the next door, and next door. It's like it never ended. and you come down to the corner, and there's this bar. There is like 5 floors, and there's live music in every single floor. It's massive. Again, everything is big. So, and I remember hearing my favorite song in this bar, and I thought, oh, I'm in heaven. And I went next door, and they were playing the same thing there, my favorite song. And I was thinking, I am really in heaven. This is absolutely where I belong. So that actually ended up in the song called Streets of Nashville.
Right, yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I'm thinking, how does she know what the streets of Nashville are like all the way from Norway, unless you've watched a whole lot of videos on YouTube?
Yeah. No. So everything in that song is true and self-experienced.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I just wanted to try and tell everyone about the feeling I had, when you walk down the street. Again, I'm back to this kind of feeling you want to express. But yeah, that's where the song comes from.
Awesome. So you mentioned you coming across Pete Johns and making music. So I wasn't completely sure. Like, I know you make music in GarageBand, but I wasn't sure if it was iOS or Mac or both. So is it a mixture of both, or?
It's on this thing here.
You seeing that, folks?
On my phone.
You seeing that, folks? Unbelievable.
And I've got nothing else.
My Lord.
Everything is done on the phone. And I've got an iPad, but it's too old, so it wouldn't run the same version of GarageBand that I had on my phone. So that just absolutely didn't work. I tried like for 5 minutes and I realized that's not going to happen. So I stuck with my phone, and everything is created there. And the videos as well. I also make the videos on my phone, which is a fiddly thing with that small screen. And yeah, I'm due for an upgrade with a little bit bigger screen. but yeah, no, it works. And that's what I've got. That's what I use.
You hear that, folks? So I have put links to Auntie G's music, so get over there. Grab her songs, put them on repeat for 3 days straight, and get her the money to get her a new iPad. Do it now.
Yeah.
Or I'll come after you. Look, that's incredible. It amazes me. Like, I used to make music on my phone when I first got it too. And then I moved up to an iPad. I can't go back to a phone now. It's way too small for me.
I know.
So, we got to get you an iPad. I know Gary Hubbs finally just got an iPad yesterday. Oh, my God. So he was in my messenger messages last night. Pretty excited. So do you put together, we'll go to your videos first, because your videos are really impressive. Do you use software-wise on your iPhone?
For the video, I use LumaFusion. The first videos I used my son's MacBook.
Yep.
But then I found that which is a lot better, iMovies on MacBook, which was a lot better with a bigger screen. But the problem was getting all those 100 little clips that I had on my phone over to the MacBook, because then I had, because that wasn't set up with my user. So I had to sort of download it, then upload it, and then that would take forever, and there was not enough storage on the MacBook, and then you can get some and not other clips. So in the end, I thought, no, it's not worth it. Let's stick to the phone, and I'll try this LumaFusion thing. I'd seen some of your videos, and I thought, okay, I think I can do this. Yeah. And I remember, and all those green screen videos I've watched as well. And so when you talked about LumaFusion, that's where I first actually heard about it. So so that's where I think it's good. It's a very good app, and I'm probably not using even a quarter of the functions in the app, but it works.
That's surprising, because your video clips are so good. So do you do a mixture of green screen, because it looks like you go out and film a lot of stuff, and you probably use some stock footage as well? So is it a mixture of everything? Because I've seen some green screen stuff where I'm thinking, are you really in that? I think it's a mechanics workshop in one of your. I'm like, are you really there or what? I couldn't work it out.
Yes, can't you see? No, well, it's the first videos I filmed only outside, and I can't remember the names now. Angels Are Crying and My New 100. Those are only my own footage being out in the city of Bergen, and I enjoy that. What I do is, so that's my New 100.
I just thought I'd play it while you're talking. I'm not playing the music, just the video.
And so I just brought my phone to the city, and I've got a gimbal, a Osmo Gimbal 3, I think it's called, which I put, it's a handheld thing, but I put my phone on it so that when you film, it gives you a smooth, well, actually here I didn't use it, I see, but anyway. And that guy, and I thought, no, I'm going to do this whole video on my own footage. And then I just popped into Pexels, and I saw this guy dancing and had all that graffiti in the back. And I thought, oh, and he's quite a dashing kind of fella. So I thought he would do very well in my film. So I thought, no, let's bring in him as well.
Show the guy.
So that was
going to show the guy again for the ladies.
For the ladies, here he is.
Can't pause it right. There we go.
Yeah, so I had to bring him in, even though the video is about not everything has to be perfect, but he was perfect, so I had to bring him in.
So
when I film, I have my phone, my gimbal, and then I also bought a tripod. So I can actually screw the gimbal on top of the tripod, and I can put my phone on top of there. So when I'm going to do shots of myself far away, I can put it on the tripod, and I can just zoom in to get the different effects, and I put it in different angles during the same clip, so I can it looks like you got a multi-camera angle. And also the gimbal has a follow mode. So when you sort of press this follow mode, it will zoom in on your face, and when you walk, the camera will walk with you. So it looks like someone is filming you. You just get that little bit of variation in your clip. So that's the three things I've got when I'm filming outside.
Look, your clips look amazing. So I think, and the first thing I actually noticed about you, and when I saw one of your clips, was your hat, because I own the exact same hat, and I've owned that hat for maybe about 12 years. And I lie, because I lost it, and I was devastated. I was performing at the comedy festival one year, and I lost it, and I went out walking the streets of Melbourne, and I found the exact same hat, and I was like, oh my God, it's so rare that you meet somebody, well, we haven't met physically, but somebody who has the hat that I love.
Yay!
We have hat love in culture.
Yeah, but I love hats. And the thing is also, when I've been filming outside, it's been so cold. Yeah. So I have to have a beanie or a hat or something. And I've got like 4 layers of wool underneath. So the hat has sort of become my little gimmicky thing.
Your signature. We all need a signature.
Yeah.
All right. So now the process of making music for you in GarageBand, do you is it the same all the time? Because I often wondered, your music's so high quality. I was like, do you actually have a band playing? I, for the longest time, thought you had a hired band. So is
Yeah, well, it's very nice that you say that, because that's all what we're aiming for, isn't it? That it doesn't sound like something you've made on your phone, or doesn't sound like the GarageBand auto drummer or the guitar from GarageBand. But it's a mix. Some of the songs is all from the virtual instruments on GarageBand, like the version I did of Streets of Nashville. That's all from the phone. And then I can't remember if I put out on the Create, Record, Release Facebook group if someone wanted to collab, or if I asked someone. I can't remember how it went actually, but in the end, I saw this message on the Facebook group from Andrew Menino Barlow, and he plays the drums, and he had put out this message saying, if anyone needs any drum tracks, I've got some spare time, give me a shout. So I, of course, jumped on the bandwagon, and I sent him a message on Facebook. Do you want to do some drums for a country track? I'm really struggling with this one. It's in 3/4, and the order drummer doesn't have any 3/4, so I need a bit of help. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. So that was my first collab. So that was Andrew helping me out with the first song that we heard on this show, Halfway Life. That's Andrew playing the drums. And he's a sweet guy, absolutely fantastic to work with. And so then also on the same track. So I released a version of that track. And then some time went on, and I thought, well, I wish I could do something more with it. And I went back and I actually downloaded this app called Fiverr, which also is a website where you can buy anything, from someone making a logo for you, or writing your kids' birthday speech or wedding speech, or play an instrument for you. So I thought, well, okay, I'll give this a go. So I got a steel guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I booked a steel guitarist, and I got a steel guitar track. I think I paid about $30 for it, and you get 1 or 2 revisions, or it depends who you book. But anyway, I thought, well, that's pretty okay. And I did the same with replacing the GarageBand guitar with a real guitarist, an acoustic guitar. So I actually bought an acoustic guitar track as well. But the nice thing was I had the track already in GarageBand, so I could send him a version with my virtual guitarist, and I could send him a version without, so that he could hear a proper song, and then he could put in his bit. He sent me the track back, I included in my project, and there you go. So there's a little bit of a mix. And then another track, Come Take My Hand, it's Martin Hammer that plays the guitar. He's also part of this community, fantastic guitarist and vocalist, and he offered to do the guitar. So he actually sent me 3 different guitar tracks and a bass. So I replaced all my virtual instruments, and with Andrew on drums again, then I had a complete track. So I added in some synth, some pads, and some cello and things, and yeah. There we go.
Awesome. Well, look, it's one of the things that strikes me. Your music doesn't sound like the GarageBand drummer. So, and I've talked about that a lot. I can normally hear that drummer. As soon as there's a drum roll, I go, there it is. I know that's the drummer. You hear it so often in other people's songs, especially in GarageBand users group. I'm going to do something a little bit different because I like being on the fly. So if you want to put your mic on mute for a little, you can go get a drink. I'm going to play Streets of Nashville just because we've talked about it, if that's okay with you.
It is okay. But I want to say something as well before you play the track. No, I'm going to say it afterwards so people can hear it first, and then I'll say.
All right, so folks,
Cool,
sit back and relax. This is the streets of. Let me get the volume up, ready to go. This is the streets of Nashville by Auntie G. So there were multiple reasons that I wanted to play that song, just to show like how you've come. And I know that's a demo, and because we talked about the streets of Nashville and your experience there in Nashville. Plus, it's got your hat in it.
Yay! I know.
I'm obsessed with the hat. It's bizarre.
No, I think I've it's a demo, but it's all made with virtual instruments, and I think I think for something that you make on your phone, I think it's fantastic that we can do it. But I had this want to see what can I do. What could the song have been like if I had real people playing. You know, how much better could it be? Because I didn't feel that it was good enough for me to send out to radio stations and things. So I actually contacted a studio here in Bergen, where I live, and I said, how about, is it possible to record this song with you? And because of Corona and the restrictions and everything, it's not easy to get people together playing, but we managed. Andrew again supplied me with the drum track, and then I got someone there in the studio to play the guitar and the bass, and I got a steel guitar from a guy in Nashville that lives 20 minutes from Nashville, a beautiful steel guitar, and I was on Tuesday down in the studio to record the vocals. So that's coming now soon in a updated new version. It's I feel that it's nice to take your music to have some sort of progression in what you're doing. And I was okay with creating on my phone, but I just wanted to see what can it be like, if I do the best I can out of it. And now I've heard what we've recorded so far, and it's a big difference. So I'm glad I've done it. I won't do it for all my tracks because it's also cost a kind of a package. So, but it's a nice experience.
You heard it first, folks. We had another scoop on this show. We always get a scoop on this show. There's an Auntie G studio recording coming out. It's awesome. I can't wait for that. So let's just sit on that for a second. So how was the experience of, going from the iPhone to that? Like, was it cray-cray? Like,
being in the studio? Yeah, it was cool. It was very nice. And I've chatted, with the guy lots of times. So we knew each other, but we hadn't met each other. So it was a really, really nice experience. And I think for me, he gave me the input that I need for someone to tell me, okay, you sing fine, there's nothing wrong. You don't sing any, well, I do, but, wrong notes, but someone to give you that, but here you must sing more with passion. Try and do a little bit of this, try and whisper a bit so that you get more dynamics in your music. And even me that's been singing for so many years, you get a little bit of deaf when you listen to yourself. And when you record at home studio, I wish someone would actually tell me that, try this, try that. So that is the most valuable input that coming from him, except, of course, it's a really, really good quality on the equipment. But having that input, lifting it up to a little bit different level, that for me was really worth it.
Yeah, and it's good to be reminded sometimes because, as you said, you had all that stuff going on and choirs and all that, so that was all down. But we forget these things because we fall into patterns of doing it this way, and because you don't have anyone sitting over your shoulder sometimes to go, good angel, bad devil, you're doing it wrong. But I think it's in the delivery that you're given that advice. And I've always found too in studios, to look for an engineer who's first friendly and not mean, and will deliver these things and just give you tips instead of going, no, do it again. I've worked with both. Yeah. And those engineers you work with in a studio who are just like, do it again. And they're not telling you why or anything like that. And it just shatters you. So I'm really glad you got that kind of feedback because
and the nice thing was that he asked me beforehand. He asked me, do you want me to give you feedback, or shall we just go through it? Do you want me to stop you? Do you want me to, should we do the first verse first and then the second and then the chorus, or how would you like to do it? So he was so friendly and open. How would you like to work? And I said, no, go for all the inputs. Give me everything you've got. I'm here for everything. So that, I think it was cool.
So that's really good advice for people watching this on a replay or here in the chat. If you are thinking of delving away from your studio in your pocket and hitting an actual studio, look for an engineer who's willing to come to the party with you and be a part of your growth and be a part of your song instead of qualifications.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, just because they've done a recording of some great band or whatever, that means nothing. They may be an asshole, and nobody wants to work with one of those.
Yeah. And he gave me a great tip. He said, when we were finished, and we were sort of talking just loosely, and he said, have you ever thought about adding some Norwegian kind of style to your music? You know, it is country, it is American, Nashville country music, but to give you that little edge or little different from someone else, because we have like a fiddle in Norway called the hardingfele, which is from a special region, and it's got this very special sound, and there's something about the strings. Oh, now I'm a bit embarrassed because I should know. But he said, have you thought about including that? Or we have an accordion in Norway that has only two rows of buttons. We call it torader. So adding something that is really from Norway, but with a country sound that makes you stand out from everyone else.
Exactly, yeah.
So I thought that was brilliant. Why hadn't I thought about that? So that was also worth my money.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to go home and look in the mirror and remind yourself, who am I? Where do I come from? What are the things I've grown up with? And you know, I can see this Auntie G Partridge Family accordion thing coming to fruition even more now. So yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea of incorporating that accordion. I mean, we started on that. So, you know, and we look. Anybody who's here in the chat or watching the replay, we all know what it's like. It's really hard to stand out these days. There's so much music. Look at yourself. Look at the things you've come from. Look at your history. Find those little things that you may think mean absolutely nothing, but may be the defining thing that make you shine brighter than the brightest star in the universe.
Yeah. That's true.
So we are at this point of the show where I'm going to ask you about, I don't know, if you can throw me maybe 5 apps that you have on your iPhone that you would absolutely be lost without. And I'll find them on the App Store while you're telling me.
Well, the first you don't need to find, but it's my very most important thing, and that's the Notes app. I know it is boring, but the thing is for me, lyrics always comes first. And I've got to drop down my ideas somewhere. And the ideas come when I'm out on my evening walk, when I'm sitting on the tube, when I'm going for a walk, when I'm at home, laying in bed, can't sleep, you name it. So, and the phone is always there handy. So I've got a long list of ideas, just ideas of topics, a certain sentence that keeps popping in my head. And then when I have time and the right frame of mind and the creativity, I bring up this Notes and I look at my ideas and I think, oh yeah, that one, I like that one. That's how I feel now. And then I start working from there. So that's my first.
And the Notes app has grown so much, and it's free, everybody. Remember that. I mean, you can draw in, as I'm showing here. I mean, you can draw in it, you can import photos into it, you can do so much with it. My Notes app is used at least 5 times a day. Me and Pete talk about this on Clubhouse and stuff, and even like when we're watching other people's shows, my Notes app is constantly open on one of my devices, writing down what people are saying, because that's where all your ideas come from for your show, listening to your community. You know, it's one of the most valuable things on my iOS device. So if you don't have it installed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Get it on your phone. Do it now. What else have you got for us, Auntie G?
Well, I've also got this kind of boring that people all know, but I've got the audio share. I couldn't live without either. I need that. And it just got me addicted once I had downloaded it because everything goes through there.
It's a drug.
And
it's a good drug, though.
Yes.
What is it about audio share that keeps you going back to it?
Well, it's because I just need that place to put the files, to send it to someone or drop it from one to another, or sharing with someone, or getting some loops in and out, or you name it, or getting yeah,
it's that hub that you know everything can go to, and it's always going to be safe. You can share between computers if you need to. And look, if you're not using audio share, again, yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's just great for organizational stuff. But it can also become very messy. So get used to creating folders, or you'll do what I do and scroll through 100 songs using that search function and coming up with song 295. I wonder what that one is.
Version 12.
What else floats your boat?
And then, and I don't play guitar. I play 4 chords, but I don't really play guitar. So, and I really miss that, and I wish I could play guitar. So I play every day, because I have this dream that I'm going to be good at playing. So I play every day, and practice like a child, pick up the guitar, do my workout with the guitar. But anyway, so in my lack of guitar skills, I came across, or someone actually recommended this app called Session Band. And the Session Band comes in Session Band acoustic guitar, it comes in rock, it comes in jazz, it comes in Session Band piano, it comes in lots of things. I've got loads of them.
Here they all are here.
Yeah,
there's many.
Yeah, all the bands. And in the beginning, and the interface of this app is terrible.
It is, isn't it? It's
and
horrible.
It's so old-fashioned. You won't believe it. I'm amazed that they still have it in App Store, and that I've bought it. But still, I did, because I was desperate. And but the thing is that you have to set it up very strict with your bars and your chords, and you have different styles that you can choose from. But the thing is, it gives me that bass. So I do the track. And it gives me a bass that I can then export and put it into GarageBand, and I have a guitar track. So it actually, I have a track, a complete song in the end that I can send to someone to change it for a real guitarist, or for someone to add drum, or for someone to add a steel. So that's what it does for me. So I've got this rock, and I've got this acoustic guitars and whatever. But yeah, you got to.
Yeah,
you will struggle a bit before you get a hang of it.
I've talked about them a lot. Yeah, and the thing about them is, the interface is quite horrible. But if you spend a little bit of time, you'll get there. You'll get there with it. And the great thing about them too is, if you there's a link always in my description to appslice.co. They do price drop a lot. So they're normally all around $10 each, and you can get them in bundles as well. But they normally do drop down every couple of months down to either, like currently, I think last week most of them were down to $2.99. That's my price, so that's probably about 99 cents for the rest of you. So they do come down either between 99 or $2.99. So definitely, the one thing I do complain about them. So I've been using them for my shows for sampling other apps and just having a guitar playing in the background. But you've got to be careful, especially as a YouTuber, because some of them will say in the style of this artist. And they do say they're royalty free, but because it's in the style of, say, Alicia Keys, I used one of them and I got a copyright claim, even though it's not a.
Oh, really?
And I was like, but it's not Alicia Keys. It's just like similar chords. They're only slightly different. But somehow I got pulled into the loop. I'm going to dispute it because I think it's wrong. But or somebody's used it before, because somebody could have used it before in a video. And look, the variety is so big. I mean, in this bundle here, you've got, what have we got? So Session Band Jazz, acoustic guitar, piano, ukulele, jazz 2, acoustic guitar. There's a whole lot of different things there, but you are right. It is finicky, and it is from 1965, the UI. So, do you have anything else for us?
No, the LumaFusion we've talked about, and yeah. No.
Always good to remind people of LumaFusion. There it is. If you haven't seen it, folks, and look, it's got a price tag on it. It does cost money, but sometimes the best things in life do. And once you go LumaFusion, you never go back. It is what it is. All right, so
Yeah, and I've got the normal ones for the guitar, the tone bridge, and the all these others that we've talked about before. But yeah, I don't tend to use them that much. Also, when I get a guitar track back, I'm always happy with how it sounds. So that's fine. I'll leave it to that.
Tone Bridge is a really handy app to use. I know there are some people I see who are like, oh, but I don't play guitar. It's like, well, you don't need to. If you've got a guitar loop or even the GarageBand guitar loops, you can throw on something like Tone Bridge and totally change the guitar sound. So, think outside the box with these apps, and you don't need to play guitar. I just want to jump back a bit too. You did say that you only play 4 chords, and I was going to say, hey, Willie Nelson's whole career was based on 3 chords. So,
yeah,
so
I know.
You're 1 chord ahead of Willie Nelson, so don't talk yourself down there.
I know. Well, I'm a champion at Tulsa time. That's got 2.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so what I'm going to do now before I hit you up with the last question is I have written here, remember the giveaway, Jade. Remember the giveaway. So I'm going to do that. Let's get this out the way as quick as possible. So we're giving away these NDI HX apps. There's a camera one and a screen recorder one. Let's bring up the right screen. So I've got my random number generator. I'll grab my, of course, my notes app. So we just spoke about that. Bring up my notes app. So amazingly enough, we only had 17 people enter. Awesome. It made my life so much easier. Thank you, folks. Instead of 53 people entering. So we're going to put the magic number in to my screen here. Bring this up. There we go. It's on the screen. So 17 people. I'm going to hit twice. First one's going to be for the camera. So it is what it is. And it's number 16. It's Thomas Gillane. Well, he just won the other day. Thomas Gillane. Congratulations, Thomas. You win a camera one. And the second one will be the screen capture one. Is number 7. Dean Thomas, who I think was here in the crowd as well. Congrats, Dean. You won, mate. You won. Good stuff. All right, competition done. Let's get back to the star of the show, who is Auntie G. All right, now if Doug's still here, he hates this question. So how am I going to rephrase the question? Because I don't want Doug to pick on me. So when is the best time, do you think, for somebody to actually start creating music in their life, wherever? When would be the best time? When do you think?
Is there any better time than today? No, today.
I knocked my headphones off. I was so excited. Take that, Doug.
Absolutely. So what does Doug say? Not
he told
today?
me it was a stupid question.
Oh, no.
I'm never going to forget it. You're right, though. Yeah, it is a loaded question.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't say anything else but today. But it's sort of true. If you go thinking about it, shouldn't I? And it's never... I think if you get wrapped up in your life and you've got kids and family and everything, you don't really have time, but you have to make time. Yep. And if you're going to make time today, because you won't get it tomorrow. No one's going to give it to you tomorrow. So then I'm thinking, just make time. Prioritize.
Yeah, don't wait for somebody to lead you down that path either. Just, make whatever time you can, any minute of the day, even if it's for like 2 minutes, and yep. You fail. It's the attempt. It's that, and pat yourself on the back for that stuff. We talked about it on the success episode we did this week. So, alrighty, we're at the end of the show. We're at our normal 1 minute 21. Thank you for being so generous with your time, being so generous with your answers, and sharing your musical journey. And it's still a long ways to go. You're so early in it, and I look forward to hearing what comes. I just remind everybody that if you want to find out more about Auntie G, all of the links are in the description, so make sure you go ahead and click those links. And as I said earlier, just put our music on repeat for about 2 days straight, so we can get that iPad in our hands. I know. No.
Well, I have to say thank you very much for having me, Jade. It's been wonderful. And it's so nice to meet you finally, not just from the chat, but in person. Well, almost person.
We can almost agree.
But yeah, and I've been thinking serious about getting that iPad. But you know, when you have that thing of making music on your phone, it becomes sort of like almost like a gimmick. I don't want to change. Yeah. Don't want to jinx it. And it's like cool to make it on my phone.
And you get that muscle memory too, like that you're so used to working on that small screen. But trust me, when you get that big screen, it's like, there's so much.
Oh, you can never go back.
There's
I'm
so
sure.
much room. It's like moving into a giant house, you know.
Yeah.
And we are going to go out today with "Come Take My Hand." Which is, again, another song which is available on iTunes, Spotify, all of those cool places and hip places that you can get music. So, yeah. Look, everybody in the chat, thank you all for being here. I love you all. You guys are the warts. We all rise together.
Thank
you. You make the show every day. You're all fantastic. Yeah. And that's going to be it for today. Is there anything you would like to say to people in the audience before we go?
Well, thank you everyone for being here. It's been it's a fantastic community, and we say this to each other a lot on the different Facebook groups as well. That the community means a lot to us, and I know that we're not just saying it; we actually mean it. And it's people like you, Jade, and Pete, and everyone together that makes it. You know, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being so awesome. And it's always my pleasure because I get to talk to awesome artists like you. Yeah. So I will remind you too, just to make sure you mute your mic in case you like say anything during this. So we're going to go out with "Come Take My Hand." Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great day. Keep creating, keep making mistakes because they make you better. Keep doing all the things that make you happy. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.